Ricky, Nigel Benn being in the gym today, took him on the pads. How was that?
Brilliant. I've done a lot of exciting things in my life. Had a lot of famous names coming through the gym door. From Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, Joe Frazier, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. And to have Nigel through again and take him on the pads, there's a lot of good things I've done in my life. That's got to be up there.
Was he a hero of yours growing up?
He was my ultimate hero. I mean, when I first started boxing, he was the reason I got into boxing in the first place. When I was getting into boxing, the era was, the Michael Watson, the Nigel Benn, the Chris Eubank era. The first live boxing show I went to was at Old Trafford when he fought Eubanks. So, he was the reason why I got into boxing. Yeah.
One thing that's easily noticeable watching back the pad work you did with him is the power's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not lost it. He still hits very, very hard, very, very explosive. He was just a hero. He could do no wrong in my eyes. He was pure excitement. I tried to model myself on him. There's nothing. There's a lot of fighters out there in the era. Sugar Ray Leonard was about. And not quite about, but there was like James Toney and there was Michael Nunn and Chris Eubanks and great fighters around that era. But he made your hair stand on end. Every time he went. Every time he got in the ring, he wanted to knock his opponent out. That's what I did. Whether you live by the sword and you die by the sword. Which is what I did. But I think fighters like Nigel will always be remembered because he wore his heart on his sleeve, went in there. There was no messing about, and that's why he'll always be loved, and that's why I'll always love him. Yeah.
And one thing he said today as well is that he wishes you were around when he was, so he could have learnt some body shots off you. That must be flattering.
Well, that's something coming from Nigel. There's so much I can learn off Nigel, as well. But no, your heroes would always be your heroes, and they would never ever do any wrong in my eyes. I know I, won world titles, in different weight divisions and stuff like that. But it's very, very surreal, even after everything I achieved in boxing, for your heroes to come in the gym, you take him on the pads, and to speak so highly of you. I think something like that, your heroes will always be your heroes, something like that will never ever sink in.